look at that, record this so we can put that on the OA YouTube page. All right, let's keep moving forward here. And we're going to have lots of speakers from our team today. So welcome, Oracle team. Welcome, everyone joining us. A bit of an overview of the agenda. So we're going to have an update from the product strategy team, some cool sports analytics updates, an overview of the platform, an FAW demo, Power BI connector demo, AI vision demo, semantic modeler demo, and of course, the live Q&A session at the end. So let's get started. All right, Ben, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex. So my name is Ben. I'm Senior Director of Product Strategy for Oracle Analytics. And today I'm going to speak a little bit of what's new with the product. So we can go and see in the next slide that we have a new version in July, a good version. It took our PM a lot of time to integrate artificial intelligence with Oracle Analytics, and it's the case today. So first, what you have to know, we have an overlay chart available. Now you can put, for example, a bar chart inside Oracle Analytics and add multiple charts on top of that. So you are going to be able to do a lot of combination, and it's going to help for a lot of FP&A analysis, finance analysis, sales and marketing, and more. Open a workbook in a view mode. That one is a big one. It's something that you have been requesting for a bit of time. Usually when you open a workbook, automatically it's going in author mode. So you will have a bar at the left to be able to edit the workbook. A lot of you ask us by default, when we open a workbook, to open it as a viewer. So that it's a brand new feature that we are giving to all the users. I'm going to show it to you really quick. So Alex, I'm going to just share my screen really quick. And here you can see I have my instance. I can click on this specific dashboard. And by default, it's going to open the dashboard as a user, not as an author. And if I want to author the dashboard, you can see at the top right here that I have this icon now. I can click on it. And now I'm going to be able to edit the specific dashboard. But again, now you have a way to show the dashboard to the users normally. So Alex, you can take it back from here, sorry, and share again. Okay, another thing now, it's Auto Insight map visualization. So, you know, Auto Insight, we launched it, I think, 2 months ago. It's a way for you to open an Excel file and automatically AI machine learning is analyzing the file for you and showing you a lot of different data visualization, correlation, and more. We are adding this month a new map visualization to Auto Insight. So now on top of receiving 100 visualization for your dataset, you will have some mapping visualization. OCI Vision AI integration, big thing. Now you can create your AI vision model or use the one provided by Oracle and detect objects in images or text. So for example, in this screen here, you can see that my AI model is trying to basically detect airplane or people into images. And the confidence here of my AI model, it's 98% that this is an airplane. So it's working well. You will be able to detect objects in satellite picture, in different images, and use that into your workbook as a data set. Also a big thing, semantic modeler. You are a lot of you using the RPD on the desktop. You are able to change all the dimension, the presentation layer, and different objects, like for example, the hierarchies, the variable, the parameters. Now you can do that online. You have a semantic modeler as a preview. So ask your administrator, he can go into the console, activate the semantic modeler, and you will be able to do your subject area by yourself and create the one you want. And finally, Auto Insight was, I would say, a choice for the user. You were able to say, I want to use it for this data set or not. Now it's enabled by default. So if you are uploading an Excel file, automatically Auto Insight is going to be enabled. So a lot of good changes for July. I hope you are going to test it and tell us what you think about it. So in the next slide, for the new people that are not yet using Oracle Analytics, or if you just get access, I'm going to show you a few things. So one, you can connect Oracle Analytics to different data sources. And just for few speakers, if you are not speaking, please put yourself on mute. Thank you. So we have more than 100 different connectors. You can connect to Autonomous Data Warehouse, Fusion Cloud, EPM, Amazon Redshift, Microsoft SQL, and so on and so on. We have also a JDBC connector. So this connector allows you to connect to your legacy data sources. So again, with Oracle Analytics, you can connect to all data sources. On the next slide, you are going also to see that you can prepare your data. If you load an Excel file, or if you retrieve data from Salesforce or any other data sources, you can prepare it, change the name of the country directly. You can, for example, enrich your data. Look at the data quality. You can apply script for that. It's really ideal for audit and compliance. And you can also change the date in different formats. So everything you will do in Excel with a macro, you can do it here. In the next slide, we are going also to see that you can transform data. You have a tool which is called data flow. In data flow, you can ingest 10 years of data, merge the data sources together, join the data, filter, aggregate the data, and at the end, save the data into a cube, into your dataset, database, or object store. So again, it's very fast. A lot of our customers are using it to do all types of data transformation. You can also apply your AI model here or your machine learning model. In the next slide now, we are going to see that you can also do any type of data modeling. So again, here it's multi-table data set. I'm showing you how to join data, doing any type of inner join, outer join, and more. But you have to know that we have a new web semantic modeler. You can do any type of star schema, Snowflake. You can do all of that, save it in GitHub, all your changes, push it as a team, and then finally deploy it as a subject area. So very, very powerful. It's one of the best semantic modeler in the market right now. So you have to try it and let us know what you think about it. In the next slide, you are going to see that you can explore the data in different ways. We have more than 50 different data visualization types. So you can show really the data the way you want. You have a lot of one click to forecast, one click to machine learning, one click to clustering, outliering. So again, you don't have to be a data scientist. Oracle Analytics is doing that for you. You have also Auto Insight. You can see it on the visualization here, showing you a lot of different data visualization that you can use in Oracle Analytics. You have also natural language processing, natural language generation to ask questions and get explanation from Oracle on it. And finally, it's real time. So at any time, you can connect to your data sources in real time, and Oracle will analyze all of that for you. In the final slides, I'm going to show you different things. You can do machine learning by drag and drop. You don't have, again, to do Python, R. You can do directly that by drag and drop. You can ingest 10 years of data, train your machine learning model, CERT, neural network, or more. You can ask Oracle Analytics to predict the sales or the spend or the attrition, anything you want. So you can do predictive analytics on the fly by drag and drop, sorry, no code, low code here, and automatically save your model and apply it to your new data set. So again, very, very powerful. A lot of customers are using it to predict, for example, their sales, to predict duplicate invoices, attrition, and more. And it's very powerful. So I think that was the last slide, I believe, Alex. Let's see if we have another one. Okay, we have a last one, which is the experience. Experience, everything is available into one product. one interface that you can use, and also mobile. So again, you don't have to download different things on desktop. You don't have to install plugin or anything else. Everything is on your window, on Safari, on Chrome. You can use all of that directly there, and also with the same price. So it's very good. So thank you very much for joining today. A lot of demos that are coming through. During the demo, put some questions in the Q&A. We will reply to some of them directly in the chat or directly live at the end of the OA Live. We have also Customer Connect. We are going to send you the link with a follow-up email after this event. You can go to the forum and see all your questions answered directly. So thank you very much. And Alex, you can take.
Thanks, Ben. Let's move forward here. We have Fari. She just joined us. So welcome, Fari. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Hello, everyone. This is Fari Javanbakti. I'm a principal product manager with the product strategy team at Oracle Analytics. And as Alex mentioned, I have joined the team in the past 2 weeks. So I'm going through to review some of our announcements today. And the first one is the Cloud World. So Cloud World this year is happening in October, between the 16th and 20th of October in Las Vegas. Our team will be there. The event is going to be a lot bigger and better than the previous events. So we would love to see you there. And I know our chat is not working today, but we will ensure you have access to the link so you can get more information on that. So on this slide, we're ensuring that you can go to the Idea Lab. As you may know, Idea Lab is a place that you can submit any of the product enhancement ideas or any feature request as an idea, and other users can vote on your ideas. So if you have any enhancement in mind that suits your needs on the OAC, OAS, or Fusion Analytics, please go ahead on the Idea Lab, submit your ideas. You can also see other users' ideas and vote on them. So in that way, you can influence our roadmap. All right, and the Zoom link for OA Live, the meeting that you're attending today, is going to change for the future ones. So we will send a new calendar invitation with the updated Zoom link. So please be on the lookout for that. And with that, I'll hand it back to Alex. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and welcome again. We're happy to have you join the team. We're going to move over to Carrie with some updates on sports analytics. Carrie.
All right, thanks, Alex. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Carrie Nielsen, and I'm leading the sports analytics initiatives for Oracle Analytics. And this means I get to work with a lot of our amazing partners to help bring the data to life for them for the win. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This is the latest exciting news about Oracle Analytics. We were able to be showcased at the Oracle Red Bull Racing Paddock. This was the latest race was at the British GP. They've had another race since then, but we were last showcased at the British GP at Silverstone. You can see from the picture, there's 2 play seats that were available. The paddock is a place where our Oracle executive hospitality teams get to come into the paddock, get invited as guests, as well as any of the paddock members who are at the physical race to go in and get wine and dined, if you will, by the Oracle Red Bull Racing team. The feedback, we had a meeting this morning of lessons learned and feedback from the first race, and they said it was a game changer. It really drove a lot of competition within the attendees. Everyone was looking up to see if their name had been able to be replaced on the leaderboard, as well as looking at the variances in their times, really driving them to jump back into the seat and showcase not only the Oracle Red Bull esports team that is growing within the Oracle Red Bull ecosystem, but it was just a great way for that entertainment side. And we're seeing this grow across customers and partners. And so let's go to the next slide. We'll look at a little bit closer into the dashboard. So with OAC, for those of you who either are familiar or not, we support map layers. And so it's a really great way to integrate a number of different ways. You can draw polygons and circles and things on an actual image, and we've done demonstrations of that in the past. This specific implementation is showing a GeoJSON file that can be generated with line string and points that get imported into OAC, and you can overlay and tie that to data within your environment to have it automatically change and update. So the ability within OAC to showcase and bring the data immediately to the users. As you saw, the drivers are sitting in the seats, and within a minute of them getting up, the dashboard updates, shows if the new person becomes the leader, and of course prizes and such were given out for that as well. So Oracle also has a refresh item. So this is hands-free up on the screen. You log into it and it automatically streams from the data and showcases the results on the screen. And let's go to the next page and talk a little bit about the actual reference architecture. As you can see, it's very small, it's simple. And we're leveraging these Raspberry Pis to be configured into the play seats. And then that gets queried by the Rabbit MQ, which is just an open source message broker that allows for that data, the data packets to be transitioned and updated into the autonomous transaction processing Oracle database. And this really shows the leveraging of Oracle ecosystems to be working with a lot of other applications. There's Python scripts that are stored there that query the F1 2022 game, and those data packets are JSON files that get transitioned over. ATP was chosen because of its high read-write capabilities of data transactions, and Oracle Analytics has live data connections or cache. In this case, it was alive because it was at the event and needing to be returned quickly. And then plus all of the formatting tools that we have to make it look great and do all the calculations of showing for each racer their fastest lap and automatically calculating all the gaps between the milliseconds between each of those racers. So very exciting day. We're looking forward to the next race we're going to be attending, which is going to be at the Dutch Grand Prix on September 2nd. And we're iterating on the branding side. So exciting for us to be able to showcase and see how this type of use case can be used across a lot of different models in business where you're trying to capture IoT data, event data, and you need to be able to store it and do some analytics and then quickly share that through a browser or web-based model. Okay, next I'm going to give you a quick update on the latest Premier League information. Our data science team, Brian McDonald and Nathan, I wish I had blog links. I'll see if I can maybe pass them to Ben to post, showcase some cool new end of the year awards for most powerful goal and most improbable comeback. This is where the last 4 years of data, I believe there was 382 matches, were iterated through and gone through using data science, where they were able to compute out and use data to identify speed and the ratio of expected goal to be able to determine what was the most improbable goal for that. So we're going to show you a quick reference architecture of what they used for that. If you go to the next slide. And this is where we're gathering third-party information, and those API calls are bringing that in, storing it in object storage. Again, another lakehouse type architecture where we're consuming information. You can leverage the object storage for the data science to reach directly and do the analytics. That information can then get stored in a database, and some dashboards were built together to be able to do some additional analysis there. But the actual awards were given out, and I'm going to end up my time giving you guys a couple of videos showcasing the end of the year awards and how it was calculated. I'm not sure if we hit the volume on this one. I'm not hearing it.
We cannot hear it, no.
Alex, did you by chance share your audio when you... I think you have to select it on the Zoom control when you start. So
I think, Alex, when you share, you need to check a box when you share your screen to share the sound
audio.
with it. Perfect.
So we missed part of that one, but we'll go into some fun ways to translate how data and analytics can have different outcomes within your organization there. So back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Carrie, for that update. Some exciting videos there we shared out. Let's move over to Barry with an overview of the platform.
All right, thank you, Alex. Can I share the screen and then I'll be off with mine? All right, so I'm going to take you briefly through some of the live product and show you what you can actually do with some of these sort of things. And I'm logged in here, and everything I'm going to show you is actually something that you'll be able to do, and I'll show you how in a little while. But right here, initially driving to OAC, Oracle Analytics Cloud, you can actually start to query your data, any source, using natural language query. Instead of having to open up a report or a dashboard, I can simply start typing. And I've done this a few times, but I'm going to show you something a little different today. I can do my usual revenue and discount by customer segment and product type. And what I could do today is I'm going to say, well, I want to see that in a pie chart. And you can kind of add these extra parameters in, and it'll actually execute those just the same. And while that's not the best looking way to be able to visualize this information, you can see that it has picked up the instruction and has very much given me everything in the pie charts that I requested. Likewise, I can do revenue, do the same thing, but I could do it in a bar chart. Oh, well, in a bar chart, I'll actually get the. Oh, it's not going to do it. I'd have to type it all out again. We haven't got time to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my usual one because I need to proceed on. So what I'll do is I'll show you that, instead of picking up in a bar chart, I'm going to get it to recommend the best visualizations it can think of. And when you take two dimensions and two attributes, it kind of ended up getting something like this. And a scatter chart is the right way to produce this data. All of the charts that created, of course, are entirely interactive, and I can drill in and alter these things as much as I like. But what I would like to do is actually, this chart is what I'm really interested in. And so to continue my investigation, I'm going to jump into that and make this my beginning of my project. So you don't have to start with a blank canvas. And to create some extra details, I want to look at this and I want to create clusters. So to do clustering, it's like kind of advanced analytics, but I come up to my top left-hand corner here and I've got three options. I can see the data attributes and metrics and things, but if I come to this little squiggly arrow, I can actually look at the kind of advanced calculations I can add. And we can see clusters is available as built in. And I can just simply double click that and it will automatically calculate clusters using 5 different states. And if I didn't want 5, I wanted 7, it's as easy as, doing that. Now, if you've ever done clustering in Excel or something, you know how tough that actually is. Here, with a few clicks, I've done that. If I didn't want to use k-means, I can switch to hierarchical too, all with clicks. So putting this sort of capability into the hands of any kind of user. I'm going to continue now to show you how easy it is to continue building some of these charts. Over here, I have a date field in my data set, but if I open up my little tree, these extra attributes were actually automatically calculated by OAC because the actual date set doesn't have all the month, quarter, year. These were calculated automatically. And I'm just going to select, month and revenue, drag this up, and I can see I can drop it anywhere on my canvas, left or right, top or bottom. I'm going to drop it on the top. And continuing with those advanced analytics, I'm going to see, that's what it looks, what does a kind of a forecast look like? I go back to my little squiggly arrow, and then I've got my clusters we saw before, but down the bottom, I've got forecasting. So I'm just going to say, double click on forecasting and look at that. It's already given me my next 3 periods. And this is seasonal sales data. So you can see in the summertime is boosting up and then coming down through winter. But I want to look at not just the next 3, but let's look at the next 6. So I just have to go and say 6, just like clustering. I went from 3 to 7 or 5 to 7. Here, I just add 6 and we can see the kind of trend going up. So it's accurately predicting the next increase for the seasonal. And you can see the model that's defaulted is a seasonal REMA, which nicely matches my seasonal sales. But I can default and I can change that away, and let's look at ETS. And ETS actually is more accurate. You can see that this is a little more predictive and to my curvature that's going into my next season of sales. And that's awesome. So very easy way to do my forecasting right there. No code, any user can do that and get some kind of good data. Next thing I'm going to do is simply say, I want to duplicate this visualization. And the reason I did that is because I want to change this type. And I go into here, and these are the different chart types that are appropriate for this data set. And over here, I have my ability to add a narrative. And in switching it to narrative, I can see I have automatically a description of what that chart was. And then I can switch it a bit here, and you can see from a breakdown or a trend, I can get some more detail. And the cool thing about this narrative is now connected to the data source. So as data changes or my charts refresh, this will refresh too. So very quickly, in only a few minutes, actually a couple of minutes, I've managed to create my dashboard about revenue and discount for this particular thing. No blank canvas, and everything is pretty much connected to the data sets. So that's where I'm going to stop today. You can do all these kind of things too, to a degree, and you can play with those. I'll show you in a second how. But first, I want to show you can actually do this for $162.30 a month, because the starting price for this, which is Oracle Analytics Professional, you can see I'm using Professional up here, this edition, with 10 users with some data for the object store, comes out $162.30 for 10 users per month. Now, you can't say Oracle is still expensive after that one. Moving on, just showing a few of the examples. Here's another dashboard you can create, some conditional formatting. You can have your tables. Everything is interactive. Down here on the bottom left, you can see another narrative. This one's a little more intricate, connected to a little bit more data. So as I scroll through, you can see there's a lot more kind of description going on. So the one I built was kind of simple, but you can get really kind of into it with these kind of levels. Carrie was showing with the different things with the mapping on the racetrack, but you can do that on anything. You can, here's the one I always show, the supermarket, and I can see how the people are moving through my supermarket through the different times of the day. I come down to just around lunchtime. I think lunchtime, noon to 3 p.m. You can see the cafe gets busy, but this really helps retailers understand, you know, where are the hot spots in the store? Where are things like the hot spots that I should put my slow moving products, the stuff I want to put on sale? Right here in this deep red is a great place to get people to kind of do those impulse purchases. Wine analytics. This is always a good one for a Friday. Some of you went Friday afternoon. I'm in Friday morning, so I'm not quite ready for my wine yet, but I'm looking at it. Again, we can build these. These are all interactive, connected to the data. You build this just like any dashboard. They're interactive. You can see with drilling and everything else that I showed you before, but you can construct this high fidelity, bring in images, making it look cool. And then right up here, we can say export. And I push this out as a file, and I can see you've got options of sending this out as PowerPoint, whatever's going to be most appropriate for what your project looks like. But here is the Adobe PDF option, which is what I'm going to use. And I've actually got it pre-built for us. Here I jump into Acrobat, and you can see my PDF is ready to roll. And you can take that PDF and now, of course, email it in your newsletter. If I'm a wine distributor, I can send that to my members, or I can just go and post that on my website. Very easy to update going forward. You don't need any agencies to do the work for you. Next one along, I'm going to show you just quickly. This is the OAC public. So you can jump in this. Created by our team. Here we go. The link will actually, this is not the link. You actually have to have the right link, which we will actually send out through the email. So you'll get the recording and all the links, but use the link. There's no login, and you'll be able to see that we have all the things. Here's the wine demo I showed you, and I can just click on one of these. And this is the eye demo that Ben actually created a little while back, but also a very good one. And you can jump into these high fidelity projects and really play with them. Here you can see filters on the dashboard, stuff that you like to get. I mean, parameterized dashboards is getting a little old school, but you can still do those kind of things right here. So we can have those developer kind of views disappear and have that consumer interface, but still interactive. Real great way of interacting and playing with things. So good chance, the way to play with the information. And I'm going to finish off just to say, you know, if you're interested in these things and the fact that you're on this webcast, you probably want to follow up and keep updated. Jump onto LinkedIn and join our analytics showcase page, and you'll see a lot of customer stories. We have Feature Friday highlighting different features each week, and you can see different things. And one of the coolest stuff, the new live labs for like the Premier League, you can jump in and play with that data that Carrie was talking about and really get in there and see what it means to analyze where the shots were scored within various goals. So that's me. I'm done for today. Thank you. And watch out for those emails, and I'll hand it back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, definitely check out our LinkedIn page, our YouTube page. It's really cool that they're able to go in and actually play with some of that data. We're going to move over to a Fusion Analytics warehouse demo with Gumanish, and I will pass it over to you.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, everyone. I'm Gunvansh, and I am a PM with HCM Analytics. For today's demo, I'm going to focus on a new subject area. Alex, if I can share my screen. Thank you. This is a new subject area which the team has been developing. It's called the learning subject area or the learning catalog. Just to give everybody a quick overview of what FAW is, FAW provides management level pre-built analytics out of the box, and it uses autonomous data warehouse and Oracle Analytics Cloud environment. Going back to our topic of the day, a learning catalog. A recent workforce learning report said a whopping 93% of employees would stay at a company if the company had invested in their career. So learning and development is no longer an optimal perk or an optional perk. It is an expected, perk by all the talent. So it signals that the employer values the people and actually values their success and not just the job, but you are in for the long haul. So based on all that, what we decided that we will build a learning catalog subject area. This subject area is again pre-built. It comes out of the box. It is available to all HCM customers. All you need to do is just let one of us at Oracle know that you would like the subject area to be activated. Once the subject area is activated, and you go in, on the left side, you will see a bunch of attributes which show up by default. So you have time, which is there. You can choose any type of time from year to date to month to week to day. From there, you can go into hierarchies, you can go into bands, you can go into learning records, you can go into learning outcomes, enrollments, ratings, etc. And why am I showing you all of this? These are all KPIs which are pre-built, so you don't really have to do anything. Once the pipeline is run, all these KPIs and these DVs on the right, which I'm going to go over next, are available to you out of the box, right? Which essentially means, your job is to just get this activated. Once it's activated, and boom, you have all these analysis, open for you. I'm going to go to the present option and go full screen on this so we can see it nice and clear. So this is an overview of the learning catalog area. We start with the overview where you can see, as a leader of the organization, as a line manager, right, or as a leader of your group, you can see the total number of learners, active enrollments, what's the completion rate overall for any number of courses, and how much dollar amount you're spending, per learner. Of course, these styles can be tweaked, enhanced as per your need. You could look at the total cost, of the organization or for your group, etc., based on what your lens is, right? From there, we have an interesting analysis, which I think is very influential these days. Does age influence learning? And all of this, needless to say, but all of this is just based on, not factual data. This is data we have made up. So none of this is, information we are using from any customer, client, or anything like that. If you see here, 26 to 40 age group tends to enroll in learning. Then 51 to 100 is just going all over learning. So there is clearly a story here that people who are aged 50 and above are, they're trying to upskill themselves. There is definitely, there is something there which we will deep dive into. Then can tenure be a service factor into, courses? Is tenure responsible for learning? So we have two tenures here for this data, 8 to 100 and 3 to 7. If you see, there's not much of a difference here. So tenure here is not really telling you any story. From here, we'll move into enrollments to see how many people are actually enrolling. Sorry, just gonna refresh my screen. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Oh, there you go. Okay, so it was just my computer. Enrollment. So enrollment, what is the curious case of enrollments? People tend to enroll for a lot of courses, but do they actually complete those courses? So here we can say, you can see courses enrollments without completions. There are 3 courses, or these 2 courses stand out in terms of people enrolling but not really completing. Then we have a list of popular courses by completion rate. All of these DVs essentially are based on your role, your responsibilities in the organization, what part of the organization you sit in, geographically, demographically, etc. So all of this can be tweaked or will be different for each and every person based on the hierarchy or based on the complexity of the organization. From here, I'm going to move to team enrollment, right? Which are the different business units and how are the enrollments happening in their, in their learning journey. So if you see US business unit 1 has the highest number of enrollments, whereas the completion rate is only 11.24%, right? But if you look at the next one, which is the Supremo US business unit, the numbers are small, but the completion rate is 80%. So for the first one, I want to deep dive and see what's going on here, right? So here I can see a detailed line by line level of what's happening, what are the courses, who are these people, etc. Right? So it's not just abstract, but you can actually deep dive and get into the so what of what's happening behind those high level numbers. I'm going to go back to my enrollments, to my team's screen. Here you can sort the screen by whatever attribute you want to, and you can see it for whatever business unit, etc. Then learning assignments, you as a line manager, you as a leader, you want to assign different learning courses to different managers, different people within your organization, and also kind of see a hierarchical structure or a top-down structure of who's doing what, right? So this is a Sankey chart, which kind of attributes that Peter has assigned all these people several courses, and then these people are assigning these courses, right? So on and so forth. This could also be a network diagram, right? I'm just trying to showcase the DB functionality as well. From there, what after learning, right? Development of candidates or development of people is really important. So what are the outcomes these learnings are helping your people achieve to? So learning outcomes, improve learner profile. If I did a course on, let's say, on product management, was product management added as a competency for me? So if you look at, if you hover over this particular chart, you see number of workers with new competencies 62. So based on your total learners course completion rate, about 62 new learners were able to add a new competency. Then here is 1 for 7 and then 17. These are for different competencies which exist within your organization. From there, you can see were new skill sets added. So if you see somebody is doing a hazardous material role, somebody's looking into a leadership level program, etc. Finally, we also want to see how satisfied your learners are when they're looking at different learning courses. So overall satisfaction of learner is 66, or 66 learners are highly satisfied, and there are 28 top rated courses, and then you can see popularity of courses by ratings. Finally, we have a chart which just depicts how many enrolled versus completed. This kind of gives a high level view of, if you hover over it, that there were 1,232 enrollments for the sexual harassment course, but only 0 completion, right? So nobody completed this course. Again, highlighting again the importance of completion versus just enrollment, and so on and so forth. And that is all I have for today. I'll pass it back to you, Alex.
Thank you. That was really interesting, seeing the completion there versus the enrollment. Let's move over to see a Power BI connector demo with Alan. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you. So what I want to do in the next few minutes is talk about what we're doing from a connectivity from Power BI to Oracle Analytics Cloud. Let me, else you can, let me share, just pull up a couple of slides just to introduce the topic. So I'm happy to announce that we do have a preview capability that will essentially allow you as an OEC customer to use Power BI to connect to OEC, and what will be exposed are the subject areas that are available in the OEC semantic model. This is a custom connector that we are building using standard Microsoft SDKs. And effectively, why are we doing this? One of the key values of OEC is it's an analytics platform. It provides these market link capabilities around a single source of the truth within our semantic models and exposed in terms of subject areas. And this is something that a lot of our customers value a lot, and we want to expose this to a wider variety of tools. We recognize that many of you are in organizations that have deployed a variety of analytics visualization tools, including Power BI. So we do want to exploit the value of the semantic layer and its power to bring together data from heterogeneous systems and allow users of Power BI to create visualizations using these subject areas that promote the single source of the truth. So let me switch to a demo. And this will give you a quick view of what this looks like. So here in Power BI, and I will pick the Oracle Analytics connector from Power BI. Once I pick the connector and connect, I'll be presented with an option to provide the instance URL, which is such a secure URL that provides secure connectivity to the Oracle Analytics Cloud instance. The documentation will demonstrate how that is set up. Then there's some optional capabilities that I'll talk about later as well. Once I connect, I see my Oracle Analytics Cloud environment. I see all my subject areas. I expand my subject areas, and now I'm able to pick a couple of the subject area tables to load into Power BI's cache. The tool previews the data first. I have the opportunity to do transformation of that data, like filtering or even change columns. In this demo, I'll just load the data directly from the subject area tables. Once the data is loaded, I'll be able to access the various columns within the subject area tables to essentially create visualizations. Here, I'll just pick a couple fields from my customer table and create a visualization to show, let's say, the credit rating by customer segment. I may want to change this to an average, and then I may want to switch this to a bar chart. All right, so that's subject area browsing. Another option, as you may have noticed when I created the connection, is I'm able to specify a logical query. So this is a powerful feature because this allows an end user to be more specific on the data they bring into Power BI. The logical query can be provided to the user by copying it from a report or a workbook. Again, I'll provide my instance URL, and this time I'll paste in a logical query. Here, I want to see customer segment, product type, and then the revenue for that customer segment and product type. I'll go ahead and initiate the connection to Oracle Analytics Cloud from Power BI. I get the data retrieved, and then I may want to transform it. So I'll do a simple transformation. So choose the revenue column, and I'll maybe change it to a whole number instead of a decimal presentation. But there are a number of different transformations that you can do. And this is pure Power BI capability. So now I'll load that data into Power BI from the query itself. And then now that I have the data available from the query, I can create a visualization. So, again, I'll just do a simple bar chart visualization based on the data that's returned from the query of the subject areas. So again, this capability is available in preview. And I just want to point out the link for the public preview. We do have all the assets needed to enable this capability, as well as documentation on this link. With that, I will send it over to the next presenter.
Thanks, Alan. We are going to see AI vision with Philippe. Philippe, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Let me turn on my camera. Hang on. Sorry, I have a little challenge with reaching the button. Hopefully you can see me. I cannot see it, but and good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So I'm going to take a few minutes here. Let me share my screen to briefly, okay, sorry. Can you see my screen coming up?
Yes.
Okay, I'm an analyst and I have a bunch of pictures that I would like of the parking lot of our organization, which you can see on the screen here. And this is my laptop itself. So I would like to run analysis and insights on occupation of this parking lot. And you may be aware of the fact that this Oracle Cloud infrastructure provides with pre-built models to do image classification or object detection. And these are part of the OCI offer already. So I can simply select an image here. Let's pick this one, for instance, and ask the system to identify what it finds on this image as objects. So this is a pre-built, this is a vanilla model, and you can see here it finds a lot of cars, it finds a scooter, maybe some trees, maybe some lamps. I would like to apply this to all my images. So we have built the integration between OAC and that OCI service so that we can run this directly from OAC. So I have uploaded my image on an OCI bucket, so in an OCI folder, and these are my images. This is OAC interface. All I have to do at this point is to go and register a model. So I'm going to skip on this just for time's sake, but basically, once and for all, I have to register the model from the OCI environment that I'm looking at. And once it's registered in OAC, as a business user, I can simply run a data flow. So a data flow is, let me pick the right data flow. It's a sequence of steps. So here's the image classification data flow. And in this data flow, okay, this may not be the right data set, but it doesn't matter. So here's the bucket where I uploaded my images, okay? So this is all my images. And there is an option now in data flow that allows me to say, I would like to apply an OCI AI model to this data. And when I click on this, I see the models that I have registered. So I showed you the registration a minute ago. So I'm going to pick pre-trained image object detection, for instance, and this is simply going to prompt me with, as an input, please tell me what is your input column, which is my bucket, right? The URL of my folder where I have all my images. So that's all I have to provide. And I run this data flow. And as I run this data flow, I'm getting a data set. And this data set is the one that I was showing you actually a minute ago. It has how many objects it found, the percentage, the probability of confidence of the object being this, and it also has the location of the object on the viz. So this here is showing us that out of 449 images of my parking, the algorithm found about 12,000 different objects. And these objects are split between different hours of the day. So I can have an average number of cars that I'm seeing at 10 a.m., for instance. And when I click on this, so this is 42 pictures that I have at 10 a.m. different days of the week. You can see different days of the week here. And this is one of them. It found 1,500 objects. And if I pick, for instance, only, which pictures did we have with cars on Sundays at 10 a.m. So if I select on this one, I'll reduce further the number of pictures here. So we have way less. So here's one car and so on. So I can now simply go down and run a very useful analysis of my parking lot usage solely based on pictures. So I started with pictures and I'm ending up with a insights analysis that is extremely useful for me because now I understand at what time it is full, at what time it is not, and how to do maintenance on it. This is true as well. So I have another quick example, but I will just show you the result of it. It's true as well for custom-based models. So I showed you a vanilla vision model here. Obviously, it's very simple to train custom-based model in OCI. And a custom model can recognize if an object is faulty or not, if a parking is full or not counting cars, but just classifying versus this is okay. So I'll pass on this, but training custom image recognition models in OCI is extremely simple, and the integration with OAC now makes it extremely powerful to get the classification results and get insight of it. This is very powerful. There are several videos on YouTube that you can check.
If your audio is breaking up a little bit.
Okay, stop sharing.
Maybe you want to stop your camera, maybe.
Yeah. I'm trying to stop sharing even. Can you still hear me?
No, we cannot really hear you. Maybe you need to stop your
Okay.
webcam. Okay, I think we might have lost Philippe. We cannot hear you anymore, Philippe, so maybe Alex, you can take it from here.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move forward. I believe Philippe said that when he was breaking up that we have some other videos that he's done on the YouTube page. If you want to dive a bit deeper into that, spend a little more time seeing what exactly he was doing there and getting the audio for that, of course. Okay, let's hop over with our last demo for the day, the Semantic Modeler with Pravin. Pravin, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Can I share my screen?
We don't see your screen yet. We see it now, but your audio is working great.
Okay, great. Okay. Hello, everyone. So today I'll cover Semantic Modeler. This session is a recap of what we have seen in the May update. I'll also touch on what has happened since May, but it's a session that will be a recap of what we have seen in May. Right. So in May we released public preview of Semantic Modeler. So that continues in July as well. There are numerous bug fixes, that is included in the July update. Lots of feedback from customers as well as partners, and there have been certain bug fixes that was missed earlier that's been reported, and there is a lot of those bug fixes in July. Okay, so Semantic Modeler, for anyone who missed the May update, so Semantic Modeler is available as a public preview right now. So your service administrator can go to console, click on preview, and you'll see an option here in preview where you can turn on Semantic Modeler. It takes a few minutes for that to be enabled, and when you log in back again, you will see right next to data and data sets on your left pane, you will see Semantic Modeler as an option available. Okay, so Semantic Modeler, some of the key features, again, it's a modern interface, completely integrated component of Oracle Analytics Cloud, just like data flows and data sets, right? And it is integrated with Git for multi-user development. That is one of our challenging areas right now with semantic model development. One key thing to note here is that it's available only for relational sources in the initial update. So as of right now, if your customer using admin tool for semantic model development, or the data modeler, which is the thin client data modeler that is available for creating semantic models. And if you're using only relational connections, you are a candidate to try out Semantic Modeler. If you're using Essbase, Oracle Analytics Views, or Oracle OLAP, you should continue to use admin tool for now. Okay. So as you all know, that semantic model is the brain behind the Oracle Analytics query engine. So for all the various query clients and the disparate heterogeneous data sources that we support, the brain behind the Oracle Analytics query engine is the semantic model. And this semantic model is developed in an RPD format today, right? Using model admin tool by the developers, right? So developers create these advanced semantic models for various scenarios, including aggregate navigation, fragmentation, governance, all of that, query limits, all of that is developed in the semantic model using model admin tool. So what changes with the introduction of semantic modeler and SMML, right? So same, the server-side aspects, the analytics query engine, the semantic model, everything remains the same. What we are introducing is SMML, which is a JSON-based semantic model markup language to define those semantic models. So you have a code-centric way of defining semantic models. So you can develop semantic models using code. But if you prefer to use a graphical interface with all nice diagramming capabilities and that are used to in admin tool, plus but with a modern UI, Semantic Modeler is available as an integrated component of Oracle Analytics Cloud. But behind the scene, even though you are using a graphical interface, Semantic Modeler in turn generates SMML, and SMML, is what SMML gets converted upon deployment to an RPD and gets deployed into Oracle Analytics Query Engine. As you can see here, the core semantic model that the Oracle Analytics Query Engine uses is still the same. So only the design time aspect has changed. You have a code-centric way of defining SMML, and you have Semantic Modeler. But in addition to that, Semantic Modeler and SMML is tightly integrated with Git. So you have a Git integration that is code Semantic Modeler. You can configure it, which enables collaborative multi-user development of semantic models and source control. So your design time model is defined in semantic model markup language, and your runtime is the existing semantic model in RPD. Let's take a look at the quick demo. So here I'm creating a semantic model. You have a few options when you start to create a semantic model. You can start from scratch, or you can import a file or load from an analytics server. In this particular case, I have an existing RPD that I'm importing it into Semantic Modeler. When you import, I have landed on the presentation layer here with all my subject areas and folders. This is my business model layer. And you also have with all these facts and dimensions and joins. And this is my physical layer. In addition, we have introduced a connections layer, which was missing in admin tool. And then you have a tab for init blocks and variables. So here I'm looking at the logical layer, dim action. When I open this object in UI, pretty much all these attributes that you see, properties that you see, are familiar to you. It's the same properties that you see in admin tool, except that it's using a modern streamlined interface. Pretty much every object that you see behind the scene is defined in SMML, as you said. So if you see here on the top, dim action and dim action, one is the UI, the other one is the semantic model markup language. But the semantic model markup editor also has tight integration with expression editors. So it's a smart editor. So all the familiar features that you are familiar with, physical diagrams, logical diagrams. Here I'm seeing a physical diagram. I selected a table and I'm looking at all related tables, which is showing up as a start schema because the center is the fact table here. And then the logical diagram, that we are familiar with, I can pick any object and say show logical diagram, and it's direct joins. So I see, in this case, fact, fin, AR balance, and all its related tables. One of the most common features that is used in admin tool today is a query related, because it shows a lineage. It's day to day. You want to see how the objects are related. So same feature is available in Semantic Modeler as well, except that you see DB-like search interface, and with the click of from the search, you can open that object. In addition, if you miss the three pane in admin tool, you do have the option to show lineage here. The lineage is available by tables as well as by columns between the three layers. So the left one is the physical layer, and the logical layer, and the presentation layer, and you can see the relationship between tables and columns. Right? So in addition, one of the significant features in Semantic Modeler is the Git integration for collaborative multi-user development. You can use GitHub, GitLab, or any Git like Bitbucket. As long as it is available in the cloud, you'll be able to use it. So in this particular case, I'm creating a repo in GitHub. I'm copying the HTTPS URL. You can see how quickly I did that. And then when I paste this URL, it's going to ask me for a username and personal access token for GitHub. And that's it. So right now, this environment, this model is integrated with Git. And I can work with multiple, collaboratively work with my colleagues to build this model, right? So when I did a Git init right there, as you can see, all the hundreds of thousands of files that make up my semantic model in the SMML, they are checked into Git, right? So you can see the logical layer, the physical layer folders. In the logical layer, I'm opening a logical table here, I'm just going to open dim AP, approval status .json. As you can see, it is a .json. As I said earlier, SMML is based on JSON. The definition that you see here is exactly what you see in Semantic Modeler as well, right? So from here on, I'm going to create a few branches, mimic development scenarios. So from the best practice to when you use Git is this to create a feature, create a branch, whether it is a feature or a hotfix or anything you do. So I am creating 2 branches here. And any change I make to the model from here on gets tracked in the Git pane in real time, right? I'm going to make a change here saying that description updated by user 2.
Hey, Pravin, we need to wrap up here. We're a bit over time.
Okay, so let me, almost there. So just need a minute. So when I see view diffs, you can see, the difference right from within your semantic modeler. Similarly, you can do conflict resolution as well. Quick takeaways, important ones, though, it is in preview mode. So that basically means do not use for production use. What that means, it's a development tool. So what that means is that do not use in a production process. The next important update is that documentation is available right now. This is one of the challenges we had in the past month. With the May update, we didn't have the documentation. Preview documentation is available as part of your regular documentation. If you see, Oracle Analytics documentation, you will have the documentation for semantic models. And if with the July update, there are numerous bugs that's been fixed. But if you're actively trying semantic modeler out, there is a few more bugs that's been fixed in a patch. So this patch is available only on request. So even after after the July update, if you're actively trying this for in your environment, I would suggest requesting for an update to your environment. Create an SR for that. And also there is a known issue with non-ASCII characters. So most European customers are coming across this issue. The fix is in progress, and it most likely will be available in the next update. That's it from my side. Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for that overview. I know everyone's pretty excited for that. So let's move over to our Q&A now.
Perfect. And Alex, did you also run the poll?
Yeah, so once we can look through these questions, and I will run a few closing polls. If you have a second, just let us know what you think of the webinar, what product you're using if you're using it. But let's move over, and while these are running, we'll answer some of the questions.
Perfect. So we are going to just take maybe 5 more minutes to answer a few more questions. So we have one about the semantic modeler. Can we get the semantic model into Excel, as we are able to export from RPD into an Excel? And that will be for Pravin.
So this is for repository documentation. We don't have that feature right now. It is in the roadmap.
Okay, perfect. Can we import a regular RPD into the semantic modeler, Pravin?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You have the load from an RPD. You can also, if your RPD is already deployed in Oracle Analytics Cloud, you can also load from the server itself directly.
Okay, cool. We have also a question from Rajesh, and that is for Alan Lee. Do OAC has decomposition report like Power BI? Or maybe for Brett, or maybe for Barry?
This is maybe an Avinash question.
Or Avinash.
I think this is a visualization that Power BI has.
Yeah, we don't have an exact equivalent to the decomposition report at the moment, but we definitely would like to hear some more about the use cases you guys have for it. We are looking at the other visuals that we will add and the ranking. You can also use the SDK to produce custom visual if it's a business critical item.
Perfect. We have a question from Alessio Folgori. The algorithm present in OA are the same of OML. Sorry, OML. So that is a good question. So it depends which one. So you have some Oracle machine learning algorithm that we are using, and I think, Brett, we can say maybe clustering, outlier, this type of ones. But then for others, I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, I think the only other thing to add is, yes, there are some that we kind of would call kind of in the box that we manage directly, and that's a limited subset. Then you have all the ones in OML if you're using an Oracle database with machine learning, like ADW, for example. And then with the new integration with the services in OCI, you can really run any data science algorithm that you want in your own custom service. With that kind of integration that Philippe was showing around vision, there's a similar, one of the other demos we had a few months back, you could see doing that, you can see on YouTube. You can really use any platform, any processing platform you want for the processing of the data, and there's just a protocol to pass the data from OAC into that function.
Perfect. We have another question about the semantic modeler. Can we have both semantic modeler and conventional RPD together?
Okay, so if the question is, can I use admin tool and semantic modeler together, or then the answer is, so once you migrate from admin tool, let's just say there are 4 options there that we saw in the demo. So when you import, you can import an RPD that in turn creates the semantic model SMML files, right? But the deployment is again always RPD. So the semantic modeler converts it back to RPD, and nothing stops you from opening that RPD in admin tool. And I'm pretty sure you should, you'll do that quite frequently in the initial days to compare semantic modeler and admin tool, and you can, you can do that. But from a development standpoint of view, we highly recommend once you start using semantic modeler to stick with semantic modeler, especially if you have Git for audit tracking and other reasons.
Yeah, the only other comment is it really is that you have a single common set of subject areas once you use either the traditional admin tool or the semantic modeler. So at the moment, we don't have a way to have multiple RPDs. Sometimes customers ask if there's a way to host multiple RPDs. We don't have a good way to do that at the moment. Something that we're looking at for FAW, they have a new RPD merge process you can use. And if that's a scenario for you, reach out to us and we can work with you on it.
Yeah, I of the questions that's coming up.
Yeah, there is another one on the RPD, so we'll continue on that topic. So it's from Begona. Can we have more than one deployed semantic model or just one as with traditional RPD?
As of right now, it is, it is one semantic model. A semantic model corresponds to an RPD. So semantic model gets converted to one RPD, and it is one RPD in the BI server. Sorry, in the analytics server.
Perfect. Let's see, we have another question about mobile. Which mobile application can be used to access dashboard created in OAC Classic, as well as DV workbook? Anyone?
I think right now the best practice right now would be to do browser-based access for those. If you need to use them at the same time, I think the Oracle Analytics Mobile is focused on DV, but we can maybe do a follow-up then, unless you guys know for sure.
Yeah, no, I think we have 2 options, either the browser, as you said, or we have a mobile app, the new Oracle Analytics app. You can see only the DV one on the Oracle Analytics app, but you still have an option at the top right, which is choose to open through the browser. So I think that it's good too. Let's see. We have a question. I'm not sure if it's answered. Any plan to introduce an admin tool for Mac?
No, we are not planning to. That's one of the reasons for introducing semantic modeler, which is browser based. So the answer is no.
Yeah, that it's a good answer. Will be there RPD supported, VPD supported in the semantic modeler?
Yes. So pretty much all the capabilities for relational sources is available in semantic modeler.
Okay. Okay, there is a question from Mangesh. Is vision, so AI vision, part of OAC license or charged separately?
Yeah, it will be a separate service you have to provision and manage in OCI. It'll only be used, billed as you use it. But yes, if you're using the vision service, it will be a separate service that you configure and run. It has additional features that you can do, such as creating your own vision training models, and it has quite a bit of additional functionality beyond just what we showed in the demo.
But just to confirm also, so you have to use some of your credit into the AI service in OCI, but it will not involve more credit for OAC. If you are, for example, Barry show $160 for professional version, if you pay for your AI services to use a model to detect object or to recognize object, you will be able to integrate that in your current OAC with the current price, and you don't have to pay more for OAC.
Right. The integration is not charged, right? Exactly right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Next one, is there a plan to use Python script directly in OAC for more advanced analysis similar to OAS?
Yeah, that's the comment I made, that you can use the extensibility for OCI data services. There's a video on it, and that's available today in the current product. And you can use Python or any other runtime environment that you want to do your own machine learning or data science.
Yeah, and that it's a question that we got a lot of time in the past month. So I think I'm just going to show something in 1 second. Let's see. I'm going to, okay, it's not that one, it's the other one. I'm going to share my screen for a second. And if you are creating a Python script or creating a R script in OCI, you can go into OAC, you can click here and register your OCI function, which means basically in Oracle Cloud, you are developing your R script or your Python, you store it as a function in Oracle Cloud, and then you click OCI, you select the one you want, for example, Ben, and here, okay, bad catch, maybe another one. And in another one, you will see all your R script, Python script, you select it. And then when you go to data flow, you will be able in data flow to create your entire data flow and to select your OCI function. You will see your OCI function here. When it's registered, you will just drag and drop your data, drag and drop your OCI function, and then it will use your R or Python script to transform the data. End of the demo. Okay, next question. We have another one. Okay, that it's not a question. Thanks, Daniel, for the compliment. Then we have a question for Barry. It's from Mazen. When doing a search query on the home screen, like Barry started his demo, is there a way to include time period filter in the search, like show only yesterday or today or a particular month only?
Yes, in fact, you can. I kind of was going to do that, but I was planning to do that in the next month's demo, but you can actually do parameters. So you could say, show me the revenue for the products where the product is an iPod, or you can set the parameter value. All you need to do is go into the model and index which fields you would like to expose in the natural language query. And if you expose the date field, you can actually say for period for this month or for last fiscal, or you could say, 2021 or 2022, you can definitely add that into the request bar.
Perfect. I think there was maybe a last one. Which mobile application can be used to access dashboard? Okay, I think we answered already that one, and we will put maybe the link of the app into the following email. So as you know, after this OA Live, tomorrow you are going to receive an email from Zoom. In this email, you will have all the link of everything we spoke about. So the mobile app, Power BI connector, the presentation, the YouTube video, our LinkedIn URL and profile, so you can connect with us and ask more questions. The Oracle website, the ID Lab. We really want you to go to the ID Lab if you have good ideas, if you want new features, and basically ask in the ID Lab, I want a connector to Tableau. I want Tableau to be able to do this with OAC. I want to have more AI, more machine learning in OAC. We have also Customer Connect, which is a forum. In this forum, you can go ask more questions. Again, our target this year is to have more IDs in the ID Lab, more users in Customer Connect. So check out that. As Saifari, we are going also to have the Vegas party with a cloud world. We are all going to be there. We are going to have a lot of fun. So if you can join us, it's even better. If not, we will have more events coming here in the future. We will be at the Gartner Data and Analytics Summit in Orlando with Alex. It will be end of August. And then we will have the Gartner Data Analytics Forum. I think it will be in Sydney, in Australia. I will be there. So same thing, if you can join, it's cool. So Alex, I'll let you wrap up.
All right, thanks, Ben. And that's it for today. Thank you everyone for attending. Have a great weekend and be on the lookout for that new Zoom link. And we will see you next month in August. Have a good evening or day. Bye.